So earlier today, there was a car accident just outside of my apartment. And judging from the look of the accident, it looked like a case of distracted driving. And I want to point out that as you're being distracted, whether it's texting and driving, whether it be eating behind the wheel or daydreaming while driving, you do not realize you're being distracted as it happens. You have to know what distracts you and avoid doing it while you're driving. And I really got that lesson recently because I do a lot of private tutoring. All of it's over Zoom right now. Now, part of the problem with working remotely is that a lot of the students, they're sitting in their bedrooms, they're dressed for home, and a lot of times, a lot of distractions, right? They don't think twice about surfing the internet or composing an email, eating and drinking. Sometimes they might even have a friend over. They don't think twice about that, right? They would never think about going to the tutoring center in such a condition, right? But at home, they feel like they're at home. It's their rules and all that. So I have one student who loves to be distracted. He's typing away at an email. He doesn't realize that I can hear him typing. He turns his camera away, but he's eating and drinking, and obviously I can hear all that. And more importantly, I can see the results of the distraction, right? All of a sudden, 2 plus 5 becomes 8, or all of a sudden, the chemical symbol for helium is now H, right? And he doesn't seem to recognize that he's being distracted when he does that. And you see, one of the challenges as a private tutor is that what the kids actually need and what they believe they need are very different, right? They think they're having a tough time with me because I force them to stay away from their distractions, and then they go complain to their parents, right? Even though it might be the right thing to do. And what's right to do and what actually keeps the student is always very different. Fortunately, I've been very well off. I've been able to afford to lose some of these students, right? But it's always a challenge that sits in the back of my mind. So I was telling the student, I think the next 2 problems, they're important concepts. Why don't you, finish up your food and put that away while we do the next 2 problems. And then we did the next 2 problems without him munching on food, and he did significantly better. And so I made sure to time him, and I made sure to point out that he didn't make all these mistakes that he made earlier. And I told him, see how much better that was? And he still doesn't believe it. That's the funny thing about it. 2 days later, he comes back with another bigger bag of chips. He comes in with a friend. He comes in, dressed poorly, like he just woke up. And he doesn't seem to think that's a big problem. So the point I want to make is that while you're driving, you might not think you're texting or you're looking at your GPS or you're eating and drinking or you being high on caffeine. You might not think that's a big deal, but from the outside world, your driving looks very ridiculous, right?